Welcome to the Kop TV, the voice of football's most famous stand. Yes, hello and welcome back to the Kop TV. This is a match review and player ratings of the game yesterday against Aston Villa. The game that we lost famously now, 7-2. Even when I say it out loud, it just still doesn't make sense to me. As you can see from this picture alone, Virgil was very, very angry last night. And he wasn't the only one that was deserving of letting out some steam. I think there were so many disappointing performances all across the pitch, and we'll pick them apart now. But I just wanted to do a video, after the dust has settled from a day. I think now it's the transfer deadline day. The focus is rightly on that and not the hammering that Liverpool received. But let's also give a big shout out to Aston Villa. Totally deserved to beat us. We did not deserve to win at all, or even get a draw. So we can't criticise them. It was completely, down to them playing so well and us playing so badly. It was a perfect combination. If you haven't already, please get on the channel and subscribe to the Kop TV if you haven't already. 3,000 subscribers so far, so really happy about that. And let's get into the match review. So let's start off then. The game kicks off, and less than 3 minutes in, Adrián makes a howler. Another error leading to a goal. Grealish is right on top of him. The thing that I don't understand about this one, and I get it because we've all seen attacking players really put pressure under the goalkeepers and make them make mistakes. But I'm sorry, and please correct me if I'm wrong, Adrián was hardly under any pressure last night. And I hate it when goalkeepers don't know that they should just smash the ball up. When the ball is being played around at the back, like we do so much, and normally we have Alisson, who's much more calm and collected on the ball. But when it is being pinged about between the back five, you expect your keeper at least to show confidence on the ball and not make mistakes like that. I know it's difficult to say now that the damage has been done, but in my opinion, the keeper is the one that brings the confidence from the back all the way throughout the pitch. And if you're playing in midfield, if you're playing in defence, if you're playing up front, and you turn around and you see your goalkeeper letting the team down like that, it can go one or two ways. You either fight to win or you concede the battle. And that's definitely what Liverpool did last night. I mean, going to half-time, it's 4-1. You're thinking, if we do get an early one in the second half, maybe we can salvage a draw. Salah does score, and then straight away Grealish puts the game to bed. 3 deflections last night. Although we can say what we want about Adrián, he was unlucky to let 3 goals in via deflections. That's what we have to say. That's fair. No one's fault if it deflects. But to see all of those go in, it was just one of those days for Liverpool. And you know what? I saw a comment online yesterday, and it said something like, we've been on such a high for the last 2.5 to 3 years, winning all these trophies, that, yeah, sometimes you need something to just bring you back to ground and reset. And I think that is what has to happen now. The game was over, really, in the first half, but then the second half was just way more embarrassing for us. Ross Barkley even got in on the act. He had his best game against us he's ever played, to be honest. Obviously a former Everton player. So, I didn't sleep much last night, guys. I don't know about you, but I didn't sleep well last night. And the only thing that was going through my head was it was the embarrassment, to be honest, knowing that even without the likes of Mane, Adrián, Thiago on the pitch, you would have thought that even with those players out, we still would have put up a great fight. We had our first choice defenders playing the game. For me, there's just no excuses. Ollie Watkins, those were his first ever Premier League goals yesterday, and he played against us like he was an informed Vardy or a Drogba back in the day, or an Henry. He was that good last night. Right foot, left foot, header, scores the perfect hat-trick against us within the first half, pretty much. So it's such a difficult one to take. Again, I have to emphasise that, Darren, sorry, I was about to say Darren Farley because he's on Sky Sports News now behind me, but you have to give the credit to Aston Villa. You have to, because they played out of their skin, one of the best games they've had in Premier League era. And one of easily the worst, if not the worst, for Liverpool yesterday. Let's get into some comments quickly, and then I'll get on to the player ratings. Now, please listen, guys. If you disagree with me, I'd love to know. So when I'm reading out the numbers of the players, please let me know in the comments if you think I'm right or wrong. Mike Mitchell here says, mate, I'm still in shock. I'm so grateful for what this team has given me. I'm so disappointed in every single one of them. I think you're so right. Louis, obviously, here is just trolling, and whoever bites to Louis's comments is just a silly person as well. Sack Klopp, Sell Van Dijk. It's just rubbish. And Mitchell, rightly so, getting on to Louis for those silly comments. He does say he was joking, to be fair. But Jurgen Klopp's memes say Liverpool lose, people take notice. United, Everton lose, it's normal. That is the levels, and the levels that we have got ourselves to in the last 2.5 to 3 years is up here. So when something down here happens, you just kind of forget sometimes just how good we were and how little we lost. I mean, we've lost 4 league games in 80. That's incredible numbers. You lose 1 game every half a season, pretty much, every 20 games. It's unbelievable. So we have to remind ourselves just how far we've come to this crushing blow yesterday. Dinesh, hello, hope you enjoyed your weekend up till Sunday night. Absolutely. Yes, Toxtuff Reds, how's it going, sir? You peeps. Pass was 5 yards off the player's feet. Afternoon, big up Toxtuff each and every time. Adrián isn't a good shot stopper or a passer. I mean, he did make 1 save one-on-one with Ollie Watkins. I do think it was his only save he made in the whole game. It was with his feet. But the passing for me, this is where Adrián comes on unstuck. Listen, we can all flick a deflected shot onto the bar and it looks like a great save. Adrián has done that many times for Liverpool where it looks like it's a world-class save, but really he should have caught the ball. My 2 main things of Adrián are his footwork. When a player is running at you to put pressure on you, the last thing you should do is panic. I know that sounds crazy to say, but when you're a professional goalkeeper stepping in for Alisson, it's your big chance. Don't fuck it up, especially in the first 3 minutes. I'm still annoyed. I'm still angry about this. And the second thing with Adrián, and this is something I've noticed more and more with other goalkeepers, but in particular Adrián, and it really, really pisses me off. And I just don't know what's happened in football now where the keepers can't catch a ball. It sounds mental to even say that, right? But when a ball's coming at you from 20, 25 yards and it's straight, you don't need to punch it or push it out. Just do your best to catch the ball. And if you do drop it, at least it's within your close proximity so you can grab it again on the second go. If you're doing this and this, you're pushing it into trouble. And I'm sure, the mass area of that is bigger than that. So it's beyond me now why keepers don't catch the ball. And Adrián is definitely a victim of this. Listen, there's literally 5 hours, 2 minutes and 14 seconds left of the transfer window. In my head, I'd love us to go out and buy a Gazaniga and bring him in a second choice. What if there's one criticism of Klopp throughout his tenure at Liverpool, it's been that we've never had, firstly, up till 2018, a good goalkeeper, but secondly, a good backup goalkeeper. It just hasn't happened under Klopp at Liverpool. So for us now, after a performance like that from Adrián, I would have loved us, on hindsight, of course, to have bought a new keeper. Pass the ball to Adrián only if it's completely necessary. I think the defenders now will actually realise that, look, maybe we cannot trust Adrián and it will alter our playing style, which of course we don't want to compromise at all. But when Alisson's on the bench injured on the treatment table, this guy, Adrián, is unfortunately the best we've got. And he's let us down time and time again in the Champions League. And now in a huge game against Aston Villa, he's completely bottled it. And I just don't see a way back for Adrián. However, saying that, I know that he's going to play now for the next 4 weeks, which is just mind-blowing to think how badly he performed last night. Shouts for Kelleher to come in. What do we think of those guys? Adrián is a twat. No comment. Same here. Couldn't sleep well. Yeah, absolutely. David Shenton, you need a good slice of luck in football, which we had last year with few injuries, etc. On Sunday, Villa got their slice of luck as well as playing well. Perfectly summed up by David. We have ridden our luck at Villa, at Wolves, at Palace. These tight away wins that we've got last season. There was a lot of chances last season where we could have had a goal disallowed. Or remember, before VAR came in, a couple of our goals were offside. And I'm not saying this is just the Liverpool thing. Obviously, every team had pluses and minuses when it came to right or wrong decisions. But we definitely rode our luck. And maybe our luck has run out now. And we have to reset, re-humble ourselves and go again and fight. We need to go back to the basic defending, drop the high line, defend properly. Our defence is one of, if not the best in the world, absolutely. When you play such a high line and they do break it, there's such a far way to run back towards your own goal when you're playing at a halfway line, high line. And it's a horrible sight yesterday. How many times did Grealish and Watkins and Barkley get in behind our back four and they pretty much just had a free entry to goal? It's not fucking good enough. No, unfortunately, there was rumours about Gazzaniga, but they're not true. United are shit, of course they are. The mad thing about this is United yesterday lost 6-1 and we overshadowed it. That's how shit we are yesterday. Salah was the only one who could hold his head high. True. Unreal from him. A few more comments here and then we'll get into the player ratings. Gazzaniga to Liverpool, we pray. Don't think it's going to happen. Well, it's definitely not going to happen. You need a setback every now and again, David here says, to remind you of the good times that you've taken for granted. Again, spot on, David. We need a new goal kick. Outrun, outfought, outplayed, no excuses. Need to take Firmino and Gomez out for Everton. A huge shout. And we'll get into the player ratings here as well. Mushin, as an Arsenal fan, I think you need a good keeper. You lot should have went out for a second keeper. Emi Martinez, however, I would not want to play you guys after that game. Yeah, Emi Martinez, great example. Probably too good to be a number 2, though. He's doing really well at Aston Villa now. Obviously let in 2 goals last night, but was 10 times better than Adrián. A nuclear atom says, Fabrizio just tweeted that Party is flying to London now. Get for that bantering from troops in the next super fan debate. Yeah, you're right. Does the weather have something to do with that performance? Different styles will flourish during different weather types? No, sorry, I'm not on with that. Karius, Adrián and Mignolet, 3 very, very average goalkeepers that we've had at Liverpool over the last few years. Every game this weekend was strange. That is so true. There's so many surprises. Wolves, Tottenham, Villa, the list goes on. I do understand the logic behind playing the offside trap, but we can't afford to play at 80% so early in the season. One thing that I heard on the commentary last night was we caught teams in the Premier League offside 41 more times than any other team did, which does prove to you that the high line can work and is effective. But when it doesn't work and teams figure out how to break it, you're in trouble if that is your only plan. If there's no plan B to drop 10 and carry on getting exposed, trust me, you're in trouble, even if it is against an Aston Villa. Why are you so gloomy? You guys are nowhere near as bad. Yeah, of course we're not. We just won the Premier League and we're still champions. I wouldn't dare compare ourselves to Man United right now. But absolutely, we've got every single right to be gloomy after a performance like that. Right, I'm going to get on to the player ratings now. I'm going to do them for the subs as well. There is a warning, by the way, because the following player ratings are atrocious. And I genuinely believe I never, ever have to rate these players that we all know and love so low ever again. So we're going to go with Adrián in goal. I mean, guys, I'm giving him a 0. I'm not being funny. Let me know in the comments right now if I'm right, if I'm correct. I've given Adrián a 0 for yesterday. To let 7 goals in, you don't even deserve a 1. And we all know the first 3 minutes, the mistake that he makes there is just the catalyst for the further punishment that Villa inflicted upon us. So for that reason, Adrián comes in with a 0 for this game, his player rating. Trent Alexander-Arnold, poor game as well. Really poor game. I've given him a 3. Probably one of his worst games for Liverpool. And crosses weren't up to scratch. Free kicks weren't up to scratch. I thought our deliveries yesterday were awful, by the way. From goal kicks to corners to free kicks. It was shocking. And Trent and Robertson are so good at those normally, and it just weren't. They just weren't at the races yesterday. Virgil van Dijk, I'm going to give him a 3. Again, one of his worst performances in a Liverpool shirt under Jurgen Klopp. Don't know what happened to him. Was nutmegged by Jack Grealish. you know, Watkins makes him look an absolute tit, to be honest. I just don't know if that was the Virgil van Dijk that we all know. And for that reason, he gets a 3, just like Trent. A 3 out of 10 for Virgil van Dijk. A lot of comments coming in here about the player ratings. Louis given Adrián 4 zeros, Darshan 0, Louis again with a -10. James Redmond, my brother, says, still can't get my head around yesterday, bro. I believe the boys will be back stronger for the derby. James, if you are watching and you fancy jumping on for 5 minutes to discuss these player ratings, give me a shout and I'll send you the link if you're still watching. Captain back on our perch gives Adrián a -10. He did stop 100% chance, though, says Claus. He did, but the game had already been lost at that point and the damage had been done. Trent -2 from Darshan. Harsh, but I've given him a 3. Mitchell says, do you agree with Carragher's views after the game that the back line should have come back 15, 20 yards? I think it shows how out of touch he is with the modern day game. Yes and no. You can understand his viewpoint. Playing as a centre-back for 15 years as Liverpool, he obviously had different ideas, different ideologies, and they did play a lower line. So, you know, Klopp would argue this way, Carragher would argue this way, and they'd probably meet at somewhere in the middle, which would presume to be maybe drop back 5 to 10 yards instead of not 15 to 20. But who are we to disagree with Jurgen Klopp after everything he's done for us so far? Just one of those things. Man City almost conceded that many goals against Leicester. Absolutely true. Trent got caught out of position, a 2 from Kosai. A good shout out here for James, my brother. Mitchell here says, keep up good work, mate. Loving the stuff you're putting out. Expect James to be on the Kop TV a lot more in the future, guys. We're starting 2 new shows with Doyle and James Redmond next month on the Kop TV in a shiny studio. And it's going to be just next level, to be honest with you. We're going to have just a different way of doing things that will really set us apart from any other Liverpool YouTube channel. Everyone at a 0 except for Salah and 8. It was a learning curve. Yeah, absolutely. It's Redmond has sent me. Love that. Here from James Red. Oh, great. So James Redmond's been sharing the link. Love that, my brother. Come from James's live. Come on. Love that. Love that. Who would you rather win the league, United or Everton? Everton all day long. And I think every Liverpool fan here should agree with that, to be honest. It's for the city of Liverpool. Guys, loving how many of you come in to join us now from James's stream. Jeez. I might actually have to get James Redmond on to discuss the last few with me, right? So I'm going to send James the link right now. Let's see if I can do that for you guys and get James on, because look, James knows what he's talking about, and I'd like to see what he thinks after, you know, having 24 hours to really digest this shite performance from Liverpool yesterday. I'm just going to do one more player rating, and then we'll get into the midfield player ratings and the attacking player ratings when James joins very, very shortly indeed. Just sending him the link now. The last defender I'm going to rate is Andrew Robertson. I mentioned earlier that his deliveries from corners, especially on that left side, the out-swinging left-hand side corners, fucking atrocious. I've never seen Robertson with deliveries as poor as that. One thing that I just cannot get my head around is when players can't beat the first man at a corner. I mean, it's unbelievable. So for that reason alone, and Robertson will admit this as well, he's definitely not one to shy away from the critics. I'm giving him a 5, and that's the highest rating so far, a 5, which is simply unbelievable.
On my that's the last.
Brother for life. James Redmond is just getting ready. He's got, hey, listen, you've got a smile on your face at least, you know.
Yeah, lads, I'm always happy to see you, Alex. I'm always happy
to see me. Great. I'm happy to see you too as well, bro. You're looking really good today. Thank you for bringing so many viewers onto the stream.
Obviously,
just halfway through.
Redmond's don't disappoint.
Come on, bro. I love that, man. I love how you're getting the viewers up.
Love yous, by the way. I love all yous for coming over. I'm glad that you've done that. It's right.
It's right. So, James, I don't know if you've heard so far, but I've been rating the players. I've just got to the midfield. So far, the highest performing number is a 5. As we get into the midfield, let's go with what I've got and we'll discuss them with you. Keita started the game, Fabinho and Wijnaldum. To be honest, bro, I've given them all 4s, and that fucking pains me.
I think you're being a bit generous, to be honest, Alex, my mate.
Yeah, I actually do as well. I do as well.
I thought the midfield was shambolic. I thought it was too open. It was, if Henderson's in that midfield, and believe me, that midfield should be good enough without Henderson, but that doesn't happen. All that doesn't happen because Henderson's the voice, he's the leader, he's everything that midfield needs. And I'm not saying, I'm not trying, honestly, I really am confused. I don't really know what to say. I don't know how to get my head around it. I still can't get my head around the fact that we've gone from winning the first 3 games, Alex, to losing literally 7-2 against Aston Villa Football Club. So I don't know what the reasons are. I don't know why it happened. But one thing I do know, that was terrible football, and that midfield is the thing that keeps the team together. And fuck me, mate, it was just shambolic from start to finish. And Aston Villa was able to expose that. Ross Barkley was having a field day getting into our back four because the midfield weren't there. The same for Jack Grealish, same for John McGinn, same for fucking that Douglas Luiz. He had our midfield on ropes, and you know what, lads, just weren't good enough. I think you can give them all 2s, and that's half generous. I'm not gonna lie, lads. And I'm people can say I'm just being a bit, do you know what I mean? But that's just how I feel, and that's how I felt when I was watching the game.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people could say I'm being very generous. I actually do agree with you. One thing that we should mention here that Gerpal says is Aston Villa were class yesterday. Don't get me wrong, Aston Villa were class yesterday, but Liverpool were shite, and that's the worst I've ever seen Liverpool in the Premier League in all my years, bro. And what you said about Hendo missing, this result to me just shows how important Jordan Henderson is to Liverpool. It just goes without saying that this man keeps us all together, keeps us humbled, doesn't let us get above our station, is there for the fight, is there for the passion. And we needed him so badly. And I think when he does come back into the team, people are now going to see how good and important he is for the team.
Jordan Henderson, the most underrated player in the Premier League.
Facts.
Because and it's because even people who respect Henderson and put respect on his name still don't know just how good and just how important Jordan Henderson is to Liverpool Football Club. That's how good he is. That's how good he is, Alex, lad. And again, I don't want to be that Liverpool fan. Yes, credit to Aston Villa because they've got to keep us on the ropes. They've got to keep the pressure going to get 6, 7 and stuff like that. How many times do you see Liverpool get 4, but could get 8, but don't get them extra goals in? Yes, there was deflections. Yes, there was all that. At the end of the day, as much as you've got to discredit Liverpool for how poor they was, you've got to credit Aston Villa just as much. But with a Jordan Henderson in that midfield, I don't think anything like that happens. And I can't, I like Alex, I know I sound like stupid, but I can't. I do really think that Jordan Henderson is that important. That just shouldn't happen anyway. And I'm really just going to say that's a one-off because that's the only way that makes all this make sense. That's the only way. But Jordan Henderson coming back to the derby is more important than anyone else coming back in for that game. I know we'll probably talk about that more in a different video. But for that game specifically, when you talk about Alisson, with how bad Adrián was, I think Henderson is numero uno to come back in that team.
Totally agree with you, bro. Do you know what, as well? I've been getting a lot of stick, as you have, bro, in the last day. I mean, you were there when I got a 7-Up bottle sent to my phone last night. That can never happen again.
No.
I mean, a lot of this chat, though, that I'm getting today is from Arsenal fans. Now, listen. Me and James like Arsenal. We've got nothing against the club at all. We've both filmed with Arsenal Fan TV. We like the guys. They're great, right? But if there's one team that can't chat about slumpings and drubbings in the Premier League, in Europe, in big games, it's Arsenal. Yeah? We might have lost 7-2 yesterday, but let's be honest. A result like this for us doesn't happen, I would say, more than once every 6 years. You go back to the 5-0 loss against City a few years ago, the 6-1 loss to Stoke, and then maybe before that, there really wasn't an embarrassing result like that for 5 or 10 years. I mean, it's such an odd feeling being this down about a Liverpool result because all of us on this stream and the players have been living in this cloud for the last 2.5 years of just absolute, I hate to use the word, but invincibility almost, where we're so high almost. It's like we're high. We've been high for 2.5 years. And now someone's gone, actually, no, wake up, mate. Come on. Get your head together.
Let me tell you something, Alex.
We might have needed this, James.
No, this is that exactly. You've just took the words right out of my mouth, mate. It's like you don't know. This could have been the case. I say this, and a lot of people, like a lot of Liverpool fans, were watching me and raising an eyebrow and saying, "What? The kick up the arse that we needed, James? Are you mad? Shouldn't take that." And it's like, maybe it should. Like, this team's very fucking good. Like, there's a reason why we're all dead confused right now, and it's because Liverpool FC don't lose usually, and when they do lose, it's usually by 1 or 2, and it's not 7-2 to Aston Villa. It's usually to a Manchester City or whatever. And I think that everything has just got to be put back into place. It's that's all it is. And it's like there's an international break, there's a fresh start, there's a fresh breath, there's a fresh breath, fresh. What am I trying to say, Alex?
Fresh breath. Breath of fresh air.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, it's just everything's got to come back, got to get back together, regroup, and that Everton game's going to be so difficult, and I would hate to go into that derby underestimating. Jurgen Klopp is going to be going, all of you get your shit together. Every single one of you get your shit together, because this is not good enough, and that performance weren't good enough. And no Henderson, no Thiago, no Mane. That should be no problem. That's what I was thinking, because I thought our squad depth was much better, and I don't want to be proven wrong, when actually that was our first team. Do you know what I mean? So I do think it'll give them the kick up the arse, mate.
I mean, I'm looking at Sky Sports News now, James. It's telling me that there is 4 hours 44 to go.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to get a second choice keeper, a good one, are we, in the next 4 hours? A lot of people are telling Adrián to go. It's just not going to happen. And do you think we might have regretted now not going in and getting a second-class keeper? Because, James, if there's one argument about things that Klopp hasn't been successful at in this 5 years, it's having a good number 2. We've never had a good number 2.
Well, just before Alisson, we never had a good number 1, but that's another story. But now, as for the number 2 situation, I think one thing that we're realising with Liverpool, because we are becoming so good. So the first problem was the centre back and a midfielder and a full and a left back when we had Alberto Moreno. We got all that botched. It looks like we've got the first team pretty much sorted there and thereabouts. Some people are now asking questions about the number 9, but we're still okay with that. Now we're diving into the squad depth of what we need to improve. Now it's the backup goalkeeper. That's how it is. And not just because of a couple of that performance yesterday. There's been many more times where Adrián has cost us games or cost us goals, which could have cost us the game. Luckily, he's got a very good team in front of him to save him from that. Saves his win ratio, etc. But the only problem is Alisson's injury prone. I think that's one thing we're starting to learn about Alisson. We might not want to admit it, and maybe we are going to be proven wrong, and it could just be down to bad luck. But let's be honest, mate, he's missing football like the way Oxlade-Chamberlain's missing football, at least since last season. And then, you class Oxlade-Chamberlain as an injury-prone player because you don't see him that much. I feel like, I don't think this is exactly right, but I feel like I'm seeing Adrián more than Alisson because of how much he's been out. And Adrián is not going to get you. He's not going to be a Premier League winning goalkeeper. If anything, he could be the one to stop you from winning that Premier League. And the same goes for the Champions League. He's not good enough for that competition. And I'm not disrespecting Adrián. He was never supposed to be that good. Well, he obviously aimed to be, but he was a West Ham goalkeeper. He's past probably his prime of whatever that was. And now I've just realised, Karius, he's done. Mignolet, he left. And then now Adrián. Get a young goalkeeper in. Someone mentioned about bringing Kelleher as the second choice goalkeeper. I would not be too sad to see that if we don't get a backup goalkeeper, because I just don't really want to see Adrián no more. I don't think there's any point. I really don't think he's that good, Alex, and I'm not trying to discredit the guy. He's done some good things, but he is just kind of a past his best goalkeeper, and what his best was weren't even that great. So let's get Kelleher in. Let's try and build his confidence, build his minutes, because one thing we know, the more minutes goalkeepers get, the better. Just give it to him. And if it means conceding a goal or two, then so be it, mate, because let's be honest, we've got a lot more problems than just the goalkeeper. We need to fix that back line. We need to fix that midfield if we're not going to have a Henderson. That can never happen again without Henderson. I don't care about how important Henderson is to our team. That should not happen when you've got a midfield of Fabinho, Naby Keita and Wijnaldum, be all and end all. And I do not want to see this same pattern happening with the backup goalkeeper position. So that is a necessity. And I do think Liverpool should have done everything today to get one. And I think they should do everything they can for the rest of the day to get one. But I just, like you said, I don't know if they will.
4 hours 40 to go. It's going to be really tight if we do get someone in. I just can't see it. I think Klopp might have had a chat with him today to see what was on his mind, because fuck me, he made some mistakes. Let's go through a lot more comments here. Stephen here says, I agree, James. I don't think Keller makes that mistakes if he's in Adrián's shoes. I don't want to see Adrián again in this side. Gazzaniga from Spurs. Gazzaniga really bad.
I've heard that.
Stephen Murray says, Keller is Irish. There is ice in his veins. Very, very good with his feet. Yeah, let's just quickly round up the player ratings so far, James. So Adrián 0, Trent 3, Van Dijk 3, Gomez 2 was dragged off after 60 minutes. Robertson 5. The midfield of Keita, Fabinho, and Wijnaldum all a 4. Let's go on to the front 3 up top. I've gone Diogo Jota 5.5. Do you agree?
I'm gonna give him a 6.
Okay, 6 for Jota. What do we think in the comments? Let us know if we agree with that. Had some nice shots, man. It was definitely our most active player apart from Salah.
Yeah.
I mean, on another day, maybe he scores a couple, had some chances, but can't really give him more than a 6, can you?
No, I like, don't get me wrong, I think that's being nice, but it's only because I did only really see the offensive side of things that looked half normal. Like, that was it. Like, in our whole team, it was and even still, that didn't look 100%, and we still got 2 goals. I think the fact that we conceded 7's that bad, that we're forgetting the fact that we actually still got 2 goals, and like, we actually played okay offensively. Like, we didn't actually do that bad. We caused them problems, and that was without a Sadio Mane, who we know is very important to our team. But no, mate, I thought Jota was sound. I like the impact he's had on the team. And do you want me to tell you why, mate? It's because he's done better than what Origi would have done in that game. He's done better than what would Divock Origi, and no offence to the legend, but what would Divock Origi do in that game, Alex? Let's be honest, with no fight in that team, you know that Divock Origi isn't going to be the man to push you. Whereas Diogo Jota was like, no, I'm going to take this game by the fucking balls, and if we're going to die, I'm going to die trying. And that's the attitude that I want from my players, because one thing I do want to know is how this team loses, and did he lose like motherfuckers? Because Diogo Jota lost like 1 yesterday, and he went for it and he gave it 100%, and that's all you can ask for from a new signing and your winger. And you know what, mate? He's not a bad replacement for Mane when Mane's out. Yes, Mane's important, but he's sound, Jota. I just think yesterday was an off day for the team, not him specifically. But it's hard, like you say, to give someone more than a 6 in a fucking losing team that lost 7-2.
After a 5.5, I've given Firmino a 5. I mean, the only reason I've given him a 5 is because he did play a really nice through ball for Salah's second goal, made an assist. But for me, you know what? This game has actually opened up a few cracks that I didn't even think existed. I'm not going to lie to you. The goalkeeper, issue. Bobby not scoring at the minute, issue. Gomez, confidence, issue. These are all 3 things that I didn't really... I mean, before the game, bro, I thought Aston was playing. These are 3 things that I've learned from yesterday that maybe tell me this is going to be a long season.
Yeah, to be honest, I've said this. I think if we do run away with it or get first, I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as it was last year. I think that's a once-in-a-lifetime thing that we can cherish as fans, and that's absolutely okay, because let's be honest, you're not supposed to win the league by 30 points every year. But to win it back-to-back is still impressive. This team is good enough to do that. But the only issue that, like you say, is with them problems and them issues that you bring up, it does hinder things. It does kind of make you realise, like, whoa, actually, we're probably not as good as we thought we was. Like we are still very, very good at football, but it's like when there is a few cracks. And one thing we haven't saw is Liverpool without a couple of injuries. And fuck me, I didn't like the first thing I saw with that game yesterday. And if that's a sign of things to come without Henderson, then Liverpool never sell Henderson in your damn life. Never sell Henderson ever, because that just cannot. That can't happen again. It can't. But the Bobby Firmino situation about the goals, and you mentioned them points. Bobby Firmino, this is why I said I wanted Werner, because it would have allowed Bobby Firmino to kind of create a new role for himself. This was before Thiago signed and all that. I thought, moving back, he's not a number 9. Like, I know we like to say he is, and we like to give him the false 9 role, and he done well at that for a bit. But now, mate, move him back. Let him. Do you know what I mean? Try something new, because sometimes that's great for the player. Joe Gomez, and this is why I said to you in the build-up to the Arsenal game a couple of weeks ago, I wanted to see Joel Matip start if possible, but obviously he was injured, or Fabinho again. And that's because I have saw Joe Gomez's confidence being shot. And it's not that, and I said in my own video on my channel, I still think he's going to be the future centre-back for Liverpool. I still think he's going to be the future centre-back for England. He's got all the attributes, all the qualities, already got a couple of trophies under his belt. He's got experience. He's great. He's a great player to have at the club, and I'm so happy he's a Liverpool player. But it doesn't mean it's not a bad thing to drop the players, because that's sometimes the kick up the arse that they need. And to bring in a Fabinho is not bad, because I think Fabinho's been one of our best players this season. I don't think people are quite bringing up the amount of... I don't think people are quite talking about enough Van Dijk and how poor he's been this year. I don't know if I'm being a bit harsh there. I don't know what you think about that. I know you've already talked about him, and we're at the attack now, and I'm bringing him up, but just I feel like that's not being talked about enough. Van Dijk's been very poor, and when you talk about people like Joe Gomez, yes, he should be doing better than that, but he does usually thrive when Van Dijk's doing a bit better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. When Van Dijk's on top form, so is Gomez. They were both shit yesterday, so we lost 7-2. It is what it is. I've given Salah a 7. 2 really well taken goals from Mo Salah, easily our best player yesterday. Brings his little goal tally back up to, I think it's 5 Premier League goals now in 4 games, which is great for him. Really, happy for him that he managed to get 2 goals there. What I would say is, when your best player is getting a 7, it just kind of shows how shit the rest of the team were, to be honest.
Right.
As James just moves the room. Yeah, man. Oh. Now we can't hear him. Oh,
you can't hear me?
Yeah, you're back. You're back.
You got me. Sorry about that, lad. So did you give Salah a 7?
Salah a 7, 2 goals, best player on the night for us. And I said, when your player with the highest rating is a 7, that's when you know you've had a shite game.
Nah, defo, especially when you're Liverpool, because in this game specifically as well, I thought Jota would and by the way, the reason why the camera angles change is because my phone's on charge and I'm on 1%. So unless you want me gone, this is the best you're getting. Anyway, with Mo Salah, I didn't actually think he was the best performer on the day. I thought it was Jota in terms of the work ethic and the work rate. But like you said, Salah got the 2 goals, which if he doesn't get them goals, that a 7-2 is then a 7-0, and that's just even worse. So fuck that.
Wow.
Obviously, I would give him the highest rating as well. I think a 7's fair. But like you said, when you're Liverpool Football Club and you're giving your best performer a 7, it's not ideal.
Yeah, not ideal at all. I've done some ratings for the subs as well. I've given everyone a 5. Minamino, Jones and Milner. No one really came on and changed the game. Not that they could. I mean, when Klopp sends you on, when you're 6-1, 6-2 down, 5-2 down, I mean, it's definitely a tough ask, whether they can change that game around. But they're the player ratings. Listen, we're still obviously gutted about yesterday, but it's all about perspective. If someone 3 years ago, before we'd even got to the first Champions League final, said, in 80 games from now, you will have only lost 4, of course you would have taken that. The 4 games that we have lost, I think, 2 to City, Watford, and now this one. So
it happens, though, lad. It happens. Like the thing is,
listen, Bayern Munich lost 4-1 to Hoffenheim last week.
That's what I'm saying. And you look at the 2 best teams in world football, in Bayern Munich and Liverpool Football Club. They both had slip-ups. At the end of the day, no team is 100%. No team is 100%. No. Even Everton, who have won the 4 out of the first 4 games, have still got holes in their team. And I'm not saying they will definitely be exposed soon, because you don't know. They could fix it, but it's just they have got goalkeeper problems. And this is every team, by the way, so I'm not just trying to go on about Everton, but specifically about this situation. I don't think it's time for panic stations. I think we're still going to get like I think we're still going to accumulate more points than everyone else. I still think we're better than everyone else. I still think we're good enough to beat anyone in the league on our day. Yes, they just weren't our day. That's just all it comes down to. And we'll improve. We'll be back, and we'll come back stronger. And the derby is. I'm glad that's the next game. Some people are saying the derby being next. I'm made up.
Yeah. The 40-year-old Virgil, average rating for the team was 3. I actually just worked it out. The average team was 3.9, which, I mean, it's not much better, is it? It's awful. 7 should be a minimum score for every player pulling on a Liverpool shirt every game. Robbo showed a good fight, but his response to defeat proves his mentality. Yes, but what do you think about this one, James? Because this is something I saw. So when we have a corner on so you've got the goal this side. When you've got a corner on this side, you'd expect a left footer to swing it in. Yeah. And then on the other side, you'd expect a right footer to swing it in. Recently, we've swapped that. So Robbo takes the corners on the left-hand side where you should really be whipping a ball in. And his corners are out curlers, but they're not beating the first man yesterday. And then likewise with Trent, his deliveries weren't great yesterday. There was one when we had a chance in the first half, but again, from free kicks, corners, it was poor. And I'm fed up of us not beating the first man at a corner, considering how many corners we scored from last year.
Yeah, 100%. Well, Aston Villa are always dangerous from set pieces, but again, like that's not really an excuse to talk about what happened yesterday. And this is like this is what I keep getting back to, and I keep going round in circles, Alex. And I don't know how to explain yesterday, lads. I don't know how to, I don't know, and I know that just sounds boring and repetitive and not really a good, proper answer, but no one has an answer for what happened yesterday. No one, and yet we don't have to be panic stations and be calling Jürgen out. That's all out of order. But one thing that we can do is raise an eyebrow and be like, wait a minute. So we've just beat Leeds, one of the most dynamic teams in the league, on the opening day of the season. Then you give us Chelsea Football Club, wipe them away like it's no man's business. And then you tell us Arsenal as well, and we wipe them out and they're in form. And then we come up against fucking Aston Villa and get torn a new one by Jack Grealish, who's sound, but then like Ross Barkley as well. Like in my live match reaction on my channel, mate, I was saying Ross Barkley genuinely looks like one of the best midfielders in the world, but that's just because of how open our midfield is. And it's just, it's a freakish thing that I can't see happening again. I hope it doesn't happen again. And if it does happen again, then I want an apology letter like Doyle said, lad.
Yeah, Doyle's, yeah, absolutely. Listen, the dust has settled. You know, it was good to come on here and get a few things off your chest, few things off my chest, really round up how yesterday went. Obviously, now there's no game that Liverpool are involved in anyway until next Sunday.
I'm glad about that. I'm glad.
Which I'm quite happy about, to be honest. It's quite nice, actually, to have maybe 7 to 10 days away from Liverpool. Not away from the Kop TV and your channel, of course. We'll still be making content, but it's quite nice not to... I mean, put it this way, the last 2 fan cams I've done have had that little angry orange face with the swear thing on it, the emoji. So I'm just looking forward to doing a fan cam where it isn't, you know.
Where we can smile again, lads, where we can smile and enjoy it.
There you go. But James, thank you so much for coming on, my brother. Really appreciate it. As always, I mean, you must have seen me on and told everyone on your live to come and join. So
listen, Alex, lad, this is the way it works. So I saw you was actually going to watch the show, ask the question. I didn't know if you were able to get me in, so I was like, sweet, I'll just go live a second, get my man, a few people in, because I know people from my live stream. Believe me, I've got some loyal supporters on my live stream. Big up yourselves for coming in, by the way. You is right, and they came through, lad. They came through. They said something and they showed the face and they gave their opinion. He's right. Up the Redmonds Army.
Is right. Love that. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Kop TV. We just got past 3,000 subscribers, so really happy with that. The fan
Kop TV.
Yeah, man. Keep it
strong and on to the next 3.
Absolutely, bro. Listen, I'm going to be up in Liverpool a week tomorrow, so I'll see you there. We'll film some stuff, get it cracking. But brother, until then, much love. Keep your head up, and I'll see you soon, my don.
See you later, lad.
Love you, bro. Take care.
You too, lad.
In a bit, kid. James Redmond there giving his thoughts, his 2 pence to what happened last night. Still can't get my head around it. Still a bit of an anomaly. Hopefully that never fucking happens again. And like James said, if it does, which it wouldn't and it should never happen again, then I'm expecting Jurgen himself to jump on my live stream and apologise on behalf of fucking everyone, to be honest. So there you go. Match preview, player ratings done. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like I said, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Kop TV. And I will be back on Wednesday with Top of the Kops. Not Tuesday, because I've got another thing going on tomorrow with Puma. If you like your football terrace culture, I'm actually shooting a new series with Puma called The New Terrace. So yeah, absolutely, if you're into that, get involved. But see you on Wednesday. And then a nice break, a nice reset button. No Liverpool till next weekend, which is actually quite nice for once. I'm not going to lie to you. It gives me a little break off, a little weekend off anyway. But guys, like Diego says, please subscribe to James Redmond TV if you haven't already. And of course, the Kop TV. But until Wednesday, take care, much love. And let's just fucking forget about yesterday, yeah?